Ovo Overtune? No, it's Overture of the sword and spew. Okay, whatever. Let's start it. One goal starts. What would you call this feeling? Sharper agony than being sliced by a sword, a deeper throb than being cleaved by an axe or pierced by claws and fangs. No, get away from that thing. But you know what it's called, don't you understand what it means? It's called a monster. What are you doing? Why are you over there? Why are you protecting it? You're cruel, heartless, inhuman. You're a traitor. Realizing the weight of what she had lost, she opened up her mouth, threatening to say the words that she vowed would never cross her lips again. Someone please. Overture of the sword and spear. Can that thing? There we go. About 10 days after the end of Rakia's sixth warrior invasion, we still haven't managed to find the key. Tanya and the others have been looking, but nothing's come of it yet. We have found entrances to canastas outside the city and inside the dungeon. We are closing in, but the enemies hold up as we expected. After Bet killed Valletta, they won't come out until the time is right. I thought I was on the right track, but that sex addict of a goddess plays dumb whenever I tried to talk to her. There was no time. If Loki's way to that fray familiar has the key, we may have no choice but to put ourselves at odds with Otal and his men. Captain, I'm coming in. Did something happen? I was ordered to keep you updated as we get new info. It's fine, just tell me. It's got nothing to do with Knossos, but we just got word that there was a disturbance on the west side of the town. That next day, a humanoid monster. Yeah, it showed up yesterday in the western quarter. Apparently, it was like a harpy or a siren. I doubt it's related to the incident that happened during the Monsterphilia. It caused a big fuss yesterday. A bunch of guild workers are investigating things right now, apparently. Does Finn know about it? The captain said he would like people with free time to gather information on it. I think he's got something in mind. And if someone runs across it, Finn's instructions were to capture it alive. But if it looks like it may hurt someone, then we should dispose of it. A date with Betloga. A date with Betloga. Hey, wanna hold my hand? Why do I see stars? Why am I seeing a starry night instead of Betloga? Humor me and tell me what the hell you are doing here. I've been stalking staking out looking familiar's manner. Most stars. Piss off. She's really taken to you. Knock it off. Keep your comments to yourself. Split up. You two split. Looking familiar has way too many cuties and hotties. Bet is gonna get seduced. I'm so worried. What are you, an idiot? Don't worry, I'd take literally anyone over him. More importantly, bet. Did you go check online yet? You didn't forget, did ya? I've been out in the wilderness dealing with the Rocky and assault. When do you think I had time for that shit? The ain't shit's taking her prisoner anyhow. She's training with a mid-training. You could at least send her a note or something. You better not make a lion cry again. I thought she died. Is this where the monster showed up? Yeah, it seems like it. Who cares about the monster? It's not like it's got anything to do with the key. You don't know that we have to gather as much info as possible, right? What you are really saying is that we have got nothing better to do. The banter makes them seem like an old married couple. In all seriousness, is this cat girl my rival? What is this? This appeared here and Elven Gold took the monster away while the locals were throwing stones at it. An elven brat? Now if we could just find some trace of them. They used a damn item to cover the tracks. Seems like it. There's no way a monster can use items. With this and our last convo, doesn't that mean someone is sheltering it? How the hell am I supposed to know? What's with this decrepit old church? I think I heard a rumor was some familiar used in the chapel as their home. Which one? It's no use, I can't remember the name even though my brain's chock full of grey matter. Go to hell. Ignorance. Aceless familiar? Yeah, we only found out recently how shady that familiar seems. They are the ones handling the smuggling and milling. That's fun and evilous. And the main business was smuggling monsters, exporting them to a top dollar to royals and aristocrats for with strange tastes. This could be a stretch, but I wonder if the humanoid monster sighting is related to that aceless familiar. It's got nothing to do with them. Well, it's not totally unrelated, but they weren't the ones to blame. We don't need to worry about that angle at the very least. But another one of them might show up. That won't happen either. How can she be so sure? Do they know something we don't? We are pulling all our resources into tracking Aceless Familiar. If you happen to run across anyone in it, or Aceless himself, we'd appreciate you letting us know. I guess you are not going to tell me anything about the harvest you reaped from Dialada's streets, right? To tell you the truth, our goddess asked us not to say anything, not until she knows what Lord Homies is hiding. I figured as much, but fine, that's perfectly reasonable of Loki. I know we should exchange information instead of haggling. I mean, we formed an alliance and all, but we are dealing with a messy situation. Messy situation? We can't talk about what we know now. If we find it suspicious to give us more detail, then it can't be helped. Well, I guess it can, but I wouldn't to expect you to be given the circumstances. It's not that they won't discuss it, but it's that they can't. For now, could you just let Loki know that about Aceless Familiar for us? It's fine, please don't push yourself too hard. What's really going on here? I've got a bad feeling about this. You're drinking too much. How am I supposed to go on without drinking? We have failed to find any clues. There's been no progress. I've sent Loki and her children on a wild goose chase with nothing to show for it. I'm a buffoon, an imbecile. There's nothing to do with but continue moving forward. And I'll gladly humiliate myself working with Loki if that's what it takes to get vengeance. Vengeance for my children. Let's go. Loki is calling us. Said something about Aceless Familiar being fishy. Another knowing god takes the stage. If I remember correctly, Aceless is suspected of being part of Evilus. The home has been an empty shell for a long time now. Apparently they definitely moved to a different hideout. I bet he's hiding on Dialis Street in Knossos, I'm sure. It seems that way. I wouldn't be surprised if they have got their hands on a key. If we tell Homies about Knossos, he'll probably find them in no time, knowing that shoe dandy. I think we are past the point where we can be picky about our methods. We don't have many leads to go on. Said it before, Loki. Homies is a honest lapdog. As long as that old god is lurking in the shadows behind him, I won't trust him. If he can't tell us what he's really up to, I've got no intention of sitting down at the bargaining table with him. Aren't you being a bit too stubborn? Or do you have a grudge against Uranus? It's weird you got any real bias for it. When did it start? The moment I first felt put off by the old elder god. It started when we were still in the heavens. I can't even remember what it was anymore. What was it? Most had failed to realize it yet, that the appearance of the humanoid monster was the opportunity that Loki Familiar had been waiting for. The Plume hero felt a faint ache in his thumb. The goddess of Jess intended to use the elbow as a foothold, and the girl with golden hair renewed her determination to exterminate the monsters. And then, 5 days after the news of the humanoid monster broke, it was time. His and ho ba. Which makes sense since these people on Overture. I've got to do something about this. Belle? Miss Ace? Are you heading into the dungeon? Okay. Miss Eyes? Let's go. Let's go somewhere we can be alone. Sorry for, taking up your time. He looks so depressed. Is something wrong? What happened? Why do I look lost? Why do you look lost? What's wrong? Miss Eyes? If monsters had a reason to live, if they had feelings like you and me, what would you do? What are you talking about? What a meaningless question. Let me think. Let's say a monster could smile like a human, or be consumed by worry like a human, or shed tears like a human. Could I still swim my soul? I think and think and think, but in the end I'm left with a totally simple answer. If monsters hurt someone, no, that's not it. If anyone cries because of a monster, I'd kill it. What? Wouldn't you? All familiars based in the warrior to follow the guild instructions. The guild will issue a mission. For all the familiars, Aiki, I hold, let's head back. Monsters equipped with armor and weapons have destroyed Bavaria on the 18th floor. Armed monsters. Bet Loga is in a mass migration of monsters like super bad. What if they break through Babel? What the hell is going on? The guild is ordering the immediate deployment of all Overtures to exterminate. Understood. Do I hear panic in the broadcaster's voice? Did something happen? All citizens, including Overtures, are hereby forbidden to enter the dungeon. Please stand by at your respective homes. I repeat, all citizens, including Overtures, are hereby forbidden to enter the dungeon. A change in orders, huh? I bet the guild's confused too. They can't even keep their plans straight, that though. There's a big guy butting in one of the other. Is this fanfare marking the destruction of a warrior, or a gospel to guide us? Which will it be? Stand by. What kind of bullshit is that? No use leaving it to the Ganesha guys. Do we really have to wait around? The broadcaster seemed confused too. Has been destroyed by how many times now? Why is everyone freaking out? Are the monsters with weapons really a big deal? They are strange species using actual Overture's armors, not just nature weapons. It's obvious they are all the more reason we should go down there. Cool it, bet. These ain't your regular irregulars. Whatever's going on, it's not going to end if things keep going like this. Let's just my hunch though. Do you think the remnants of Evilis are involved with this? Don't you think it's too convenient to blame them for each and everything? I don't think Liveria's observation is unfounded. Like this huge deal is, it's possible that it's part of their strategy. and it's not part of the underground forces of the creatures. They have no reason to increase tension and vigilance in the city or put themselves in danger now. This is a terrible event that's unrelated to everyone or intended by anyone. The guild, rather awareness, and Homie's family are connected. This incident isn't part of their calculations, but given the cover-up, it's safe to say they aren't unrelated either. We can't assume the armed monsters are the same as the vividly colored monsters, but we have got a new piece of the puzzle, Acelus Familia. Would it be a stretch to say it's an incident at an intersection of Ornis's secrets and Acelus Familia's propensity for violence? No matter how I look at it, I end up jumping to conclusions. It is too early to tie Acelus Familia to the center of this. Didn't we already have an event surrounding what happened here? Yeah, because then Bell fights Astrius. That's how we have Astrius and whatnot. So what's this event for then? No, I have to assume that this is true. Acelus Familia is at the center of this. If I don't look under that belief, I can't do anything. This irregularity is beyond anyone's expectations. If we don't intervene, we'll lose our first and only opportunity. I heard you fought with a Curse user when you were in Knossos, a male human with smoky coats, goggles. Is that correct? Yeah, he was concealed under one of those evilest robes, but you have got it down. He was using a disgusting, creepy-ass spear. He would be Hazard Dix Paradis, captain of Acelus Familia. That confirms that Acelus Familia has joined forces with Evilus, and their headquarters are in Knossos. Prepare to sortie. We're going to Dialis Street. How many, 26. Is it okay to move out in the open like this, Finn? Guild chaos aside, the guys in Knossos will notice our movements, no doubt. Even if we try to conceal our movements, they would still have the advantage here. It's better to just draw their attention to us. Placing a check on the enemy, but won't that lead to them to retreat further into Knossos? At the very least, they will be on guard, I'm sure, in any event, if they haven't recovered Ishtar's key themselves. Then our deployment may be mistaken for preparation for a large-scale attack, tricking them into thinking we have found the key. And if the enemy is wary of us, they won't be able to spread the forces to deal with the situation inside Knossos. The migration of monsters and the armed ones making their way above ground haven't moved from the 18th floor. It may just be wishful thinking, but if the armed monsters the real target was Knossos, then things would get interesting. And also the fact that we can see other adventures around leads some credence to the idea that the area around Knossos is in chaos. Why is the Braver here? Has he found out that Isolus is hiding here, or he has to know something, otherwise he wouldn't be setting up his guys. It's just crazy scary. This is bad, Lord homies. If we don't hurry up and get this all sorted, our secret is gonna get out. I can't find it. If Finn was right, then something should show up around here. I guess she isn't going to come out. Putting me under surveillance, hounding the goddess. Sheesh, what a troublesome lot you all are. Lady Pennea. Searching for something or stealing. Takes guts to come here when the whole city is in disarray, wouldn't you say? Say something. I went on my way to start a conversation. Lady Pennea, what are you just answering the question with the question? Dear me, Lucky hasn't taught you any manners. If you were in my family, I'd kick you out in no time at all, though it's not like anyone wants to follow me. We are investigating the Conan incident around here, and we thought there might be something. I was just taking a stroll myself. Has there been anything strange going on in the Alice Street recently? Like a suspicious person hanging around? This is the slum, cesspool in the heart of the city, full of has-been adventures with violent streaks and fools of monster evilus. Do you know anything? I don't know anything. What do you think of the Aldous Street? It's a strange place. It's dizzying, dungeon-like, the strangest area in the city. And the poorest area? Well, if you ask me, it's far too rich. There's no way a slum should be as clean as this one. Sure, you'll get lost without the aid aid, but the inconvenience is trivial. There are painless brats who are completely filthy, running around and smiling. I've heard that some goddess is supporting them. Even in this cesspool, there's love, and the cooperation. I'd say it's the same for Aria as a whole, but it's definitely too happy here. Happy people shine like all the brighter. It's like they have no choice but to be so iridescent. That's what it feels like here. It's claustrophobic for someone like me. Makes it hard to call it home. It was way better before when monsters were running amok. Everyone was unhappy and they shone even brighter than they do now. It wasn't like this Watson luster we have now. It was a honorable poverty. It is anything more glorious than the spirit without any excess flab. The people of the world shone because they were caught up in the harshness. The poverty I rule over was one side of it. I had a conversation like this with some god before, I think. Who was it? That's not true. That it was better long ago when monsters were running wild. There's no way that's true. I guess you would call this a fundamental difference in point of view between a god and a mortal, but that's interesting too. Gods are prone to know it all sorts of utterances. From your point of view, it may sound wrong or even illogical. That's fine, it's better that way. Isn't that a monster? Could it be that thing you're searching for? Live like your life depends on it, no matter what's waiting for you, because that's something the gods can't copy. It's the way the inhabitants of the mortal realm ought to be. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Oh no, Winnie! I said Vivirio wasn't wearing that clothing in the other event. Somebody got here before us. Isn't that... It's Argonaut. That rabbit bastard again. The residents haven't sustained any casualties yet. A Volvio that matches the reports of a wind monster. There are still unresolved questions, but for now... Captain, the monsters. It's rampaging because the stone on its forehead is missing. Dispose of it immediately. A corpse is good enough for the guild. Ba ba ba. Yep. We know what happened already. Huh? Wait, what's this? Argonaut? Oh my, he's playing tricks on me. What is he thinking? What are you doing? I saw this Volvio force its mine. Hands off. A boy's madness. Say what? It's against the rules for the adventurer to steal a kill from another. Reviews are rare, I guess. You kidding me? The only matter sit in a dungeon. You can't bring that weak garbage up here. You have no responsibility to go along with the child's selfishness. Follow the review. On monsters, let's go. You stay here. Is there something coming? My thumb is a bit, if at all possible, capture them alive. If at all possible. This doesn't look like your ordinary lizard man. You bastards aren't welcome here. Pretty good looking for a monster, aren't you? But you can still go to hell. It's kind of hard to fight these guys. What's with this horde of monsters? How can you just flicker owls like that? What does that? Some kind of flame roxas subspecies? How the hell should I know? I got it. Tanya, the captain told us to not to kill them. What is this? The monsters are protecting each other. No way they are working together. That's impossible. What are you thinking, Finn?